What's your name?
RonaldAbey.
And when were you born,
I was
Ron?
born in Gore, the 9th of the 7th, 1925.
So how old does that make you?
100
100.
and a couple of months.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So what do you remember from growing up, your early life growing up?
But,
What was your early life like growing up?
oh, well, it was during the Depression, of course. And we went to the East Gore School. I was born in Gore. And from then on, when the war started, my two brothers went overseas, and my father tried to join up. He was a Gordon Highlander, actually from England, and they used to take the battleships used to take their army with them on board, and if they come to any small country like that who wanted help with conflict, they used to go and do the protecting or what have you. Yeah, and I left school when I was 15, and I went and worked on a farm. We actually owned a farm at Gore, a small farm, and when the Second War started, of course, my father, somehow he used to work at the cremator mills in Gore. Sergeant Dan, they used to call it cremator. And he must have lost his job somewhere or other, I don't know, it was high. And we got transferred to Tapanui, to the linen flax mill they had grown, and he became a cook there. And I got a job in the factory. I was only about 15 then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but apart from that, I was working on bits and pieces of jobs all over New Zealand, roughly. Especially when the dams were being built, we used to get classified as labourers, of course, and worked on them. So we did a lot of dam building. The Roxborough one, I worked on that too.
Yeah, the Roxborough Dam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a few in the North Island as well.
And then when did you first hear about the war in Korea?
Yeah, well, I was working in Auckland at the time, Hall Construction. Before that, of course, when I left school, we worked on the farm. Well, Second World War was on then, and by the time I reached the age of eligible for army duty, which was 20, I think it was, I was working at Balfour in a farm there, and they come and collected me. I didn't volunteer. It was compulsory in those days. And then, of course, that was 1945, and the war finished in 45, so I didn't get overseas. But I did training in the Air Force camp in Christchurch.
Right.
And from then on, a joker, one of my mates, said, "Come on, let's go and join the army and go to occupation of Japan." And I said, "Oh, yeah." But I didn't like the idea, so I got away. I didn't like it, but something seemed to tell me no. So I didn't go, but he went. And needless to say, he got cancer. But whether it was from the atomic bombs that were dropped in Nagasaki and those places, I'm not sure. I ended up with a job with a construction company, as a part, what do you call it, a hammer hand. Hammer
Hand.
So I had to do foundation work and things like that. Put the boxing down for the concrete and reinforcing. Yeah. And then I was working, as I said, with Hall Construction in Auckland, but they called for volunteers for Korea in 50. So I thought, oh, well, I'm not going to join up in Auckland, I'll go down to Dunedin, which I did. And of course I was with the South Island crew at that time. We went to the military training camps until we transferred to Waiuru, where we were all put into gun crews. And I was Fox Troop 163 battery, and the sergeant was Sergeant Bramley. I didn't know it at the time, but of course I wasn't married then. But when I eventually did come home and got married, and we had children, well, Lorraine and Cheryl, the other ones, at home. They were in Auckland. And needless to say, she married a joker by the name of Bramley. And I couldn't believe it. And he was related
to Sergeant Bramley.
Sergeant Bramley, yeah.
Yeah, it's classic, eh?
But he was a great artist and a carver.
Yes.
He used to, he's an Australian, but somehow or other he came over to New Zealand. He was living with a Maori in North Auckland somewhere with some Maori group. And he learned how to do carving and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, how many were in Fox Troop?
How many?
How many of you were there in Fox Troop?
Yeah, I was on the gun crew.
Yeah.
163 battery. Yeah. They. Well, I was. What was I? And the gunner. My job was to make sure the limber had ammunition and charges in there. So we didn't go, ask to fire and had no bullets or no shells or charges. But of course the charges, each charge shell came with Super 1, charge 1, 2, 3, and then Super, and then extra Super. If you had to fire a certain distance.
They were different size shells.
No, all the same.
Same size.
Everything
just
was
different.
the same.
Yeah.
It's only that it was the charged tank was a brass capsule about that size, and over the side. You put your shell. You put your shell. That's right. Into the breech of the gun, and then you put your charge behind it.
Depending on how far you wanted to fire.
You closed it up, and then boom, you pushed the lever to fire. Made a hell of a noise.
And that's how you lost your
Well,
hearing from the
there
from
was
the guns.
a shield in front, but somehow or other it was never. It used to come round the shield, the sound, and bang, hit you in the ear. I don't know why we never ever given earplugs or something like that. Now, of course, they've got all that sort of situation. Yeah,
But
and not only that, we have, say, Fox Troop was there, and Easy would be here, and then it would be the other ones behind us. 9 out of 10 we were the front gun, not front lot of gunners. And of course all the other shells were going over the top of you, and the sounds.
So it was the noise of
double the amount was with
all the other guns going off, all the shells from the other guns around you.
Well,
You had the extra noise. Yeah, hopefully over the top. Yeah,
I hope
yeah.
none of them had a misfire or anything like that.
Did they make the same noise flying over, or did they make different
Uh,
noises?
Well, it was all one noise. You couldn't hear the shell. But what they used to do, used to get cans from the cook, empty cans, and put holes in it, and put it over the top of the nose charge of the shell, and slam it up, and it used to make a whistling or a funny noise that went through the ear.
Why did they do that for?
Just to frighten the enemy.
Yeah. Did it work?
Yes. Well, you didn't hear it that much, but I suppose it did in some respect. You'd hear it coming anyway, so you get plenty of time to get them into their bomb shelter.
And so you went over on the SS Ormond?
What?
You went over to Korea on what was the ship you went over on?
Ormondy.
Ormondy?
I think it was the Ormondy,
Yes.
yeah.
And did you stop on the way over?
Yes, we went to Brisbane first. Yeah, I got my photograph taken. We spent 2 days there, but it was a passenger liner. It had done its tour, and it was when we finished with it, or the government, it was going to go to Japan and be broken down to scrap. But yeah, I had a what do you call them, a sort of flag type of thing with the name on it. But I gave it to my brother-in-law for some unknown reason that I didn't get it. But some of them got spoons and knives and forks in their pocket with the name on it, you know.
And you told me a story about your watch in Manila.
Oh yeah.
What
How
happened?
did you hear about that?
You told me.
Oh, did I?
What happened?
Give
What
away
happened?
all my secrets.
What happened there?
Yeah. No, well, we were given leave when we reached Manila. Some of us were somewhere. I went with about 3 other guys, and they were 6'2" people. I was the only one from 6'3", was on leave at that day. We all went together to a pub, and we were drinking, and we didn't have much money. And we went in, had a beer, and I had to look at my watch, and I looked around the barman and I said, "How much?" He gave me a price. Okay. So there was 4 other people sitting in the table behind us. And this joker said to me, "Oh, no," he said, "no, don't sell your watch. You come with us." And there were represented Good Luck cigarettes, not Lucky Strike, Good Luck. They called them in Manila. And we ran to their office, and they gave us some wine. There was one, he said it was 90 years old or something, this bottle of wine. And somehow it got put on the floor, how or why, I don't know. But it got knocked over and it broke, of course. They weren't very happy with that. Yeah. But then we had our photograph taken. And the joke is, I said, "Well, who are we going to get the photos, you know?" And apparently it was like we have a gala day thing, they had one there. And they said to me, "You can come, we got a tent there, we're selling these cigarettes, or what do you call them, advertising them." So anyway, we went to me and my mate, and I had a couple of dollars, a few Manilan money left over from the watch. So anyway, we were sitting there, and I come along one tent, and they had these turtles in lanes, and they were racing them. you had the bet on which was Turtle was going to win. And needless to say, I got a couple of bottles. I picked a couple. And the next one I would have put my hand in my pocket to have another bet. These kids went there and picked the pocket.
All gone. Your money was gone.
The money was gone. So we had to, we come out to the gate. We said, how are we going to get back to the ship, to the wharf? And there was a girl there. She wouldn't have been any more than about 12, I suppose. And she spoke pretty good English. And she said, he says, you found this ship? I said, yeah. I said, okay. And she says, you give me your name and address. And I did. And we'll write to you from there. And she says, we'll get taxi. Okay. So she got but I had no money, did I? My mates had no money.
To pay, no.
So when we arrived at the wharf, I said, left my money upstairs in the ship. I said to the mate, go up and get it and I'll wait for you to come back. Tell them the lie, of course.
Yeah.
They didn't come back.
No.
And the taxi driver looked on at his watch. I'll go and said, see where they are. I said, so I hopped out, went up the gangplank.
There was that. You got back on the ship.
Poor man didn't get paid anyway. Yeah. And then one of our chaps was late getting back to the ship when it sailed. But luckily for him, it was unlucky and lucky in one respect, he got left out with the ferry that picked up the pilot. There's ferries like in Dunedin, you had to follow
the pilot boats to
the open
take
sea.
The ship out. Yes.
And of course, he was down there waving on the deck of this thing, waving to us on the ship. And he, the brigadier, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was. Right. He was put on charge for being late. And he was sent home.
Right.
He didn't get to Korea.
Gosh.
You know, so it was pretty rough after all. He did get back to the ship. So.
And then, so where did you land in Korea?
Where did we go?
Where'd your ship?
Oh, Busan.
Busan.
Yeah, we went to Busan, and when we arrived there, apparently it was around one of the bay was a naval base that they used during the war, and they said we'd camp there until we get organised, because most of them had been salvaged or pulled to pieces by the locals, getting iron and off the roofs and things. And we also made a few available to sleep in. And that was all we had, was just the floor, no beds, just sleeping bags. Yeah.
They were old military barracks, Japanese
barracks. Yeah.
Military camp the war.
Both at one time. Yeah.
And how long did you stay there for?
I can't remember the actual time. It wasn't that long before we were on the move. And our first stop was Nai-on-Ni, and that was where we calibrated their gun. And they got their equipment to go forward. I don't know whereabouts. There was no enemy there, of course. And we just tried to test it whether they got the length, height, and everything else right. Which they did eventually, of course. And then we moved on. But we were not attached to anything. We were sort of freelancing when we got there, which meant that we could be come over here and support the British,
Mm.
and then they wouldn't, maybe you never fired a shot. There's probably no enemy there anyway at that time. I don't know. And then you'd move across to the other side of Korea and support the Americans, or give them support. And a couple of times that we were in positions like that, we weren't very far behind the front line. At one time, I remember it was an American. And then we saw all this smoke and stuff. What's that? You know, we couldn't hear anything exploding. The next minute, the Americans came in their jeeps and they were way past us and left us stand there. No infantry in front of us. Yeah.
Wow. So
I don't know where the enemy were. We never saw any. So our headman said, "Oh, move back," which we did. To around about the time we got to Cap Yong, I'm not sure, but we stayed there for quite some time, and the Argylls, I think it was the Argyle, were there at that time, and they were going home on leave, and the South Korean army took over the front, and of course they had all the bullocks and things with their carts of ammunition and what have you. And next minute, a couple of weeks I suppose we sat there. And next minute the Chinese or the North Koreans pushed, and the South Korean army sort of panicked a wee bit. They came running past us. So we were left front line.
In Cap Yong
They
Valley.
were in front of us. And we moved back eventually, which we had to try and get the South Korean soldiers off the guns to get a free ride. But we got back and we fired a lot of shell. Then in the end, we had nothing, but maybe a few charges and a few shells. Yeah, because our transport couldn't get up to us in time to give us food or ammunition. Yeah.
And did you say were there Chinese planes flying?
The Chinese. Oh, yeah. Well, that was Bed Chick Charlie, they called him. And he used to come over about in the evening and drop hand grenades over the side of the plane. Because we, at that time, all we had was rifles, shooting out the sky. Have any anti-aircraft guns or anything like that with us. Yeah.
And did they drop pamphlets as well?
Did we what?
Did they drop pamphlets?
Oh yes, they do. Hundreds of them.
What did they say?
Oh, go home, soldiers, or something. Not your war, and that sort of thing.
Go home, Kiwis?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. For the thousands and we were flying all over the place, I never thought I'd pick one up and bring it home. It's just like those pamphlets we used to have here during the war. The walls have ears and that sort of thing. Planted all over the place. No talking. Yeah.
What did you feel? Did you feel hard for you reading that material? That propaganda?
It? No, it was printed in English.
Yeah, and what did you feel about reading that information from the Chinese?
Well, you didn't took any notice of it.
No.
Because we couldn't move until their boss was hit, or commander or whoever was running it. You know, we've got to move back, we've got to move forward. There were different times when we did move at times, and we got ahead of the infantry. That's the artillery. They should have been at least 30 yards behind us, behind the infantry, to support them more or less. But we were in one area we moved, the Chinese were just moving out as we moved into position. They could have turned around and fired shots at us quite easy. So they didn't. Yeah, amazing. But they left a lot of landmines. 2 or 3 tanks were blown, and they had the Indian medical crew there, and they come past us because some of the tank crew got injured, and they had these jeeps with sides we could put a what do you call them, a stretcher on the side of it, and 2 of them got blown up, run over mines. Yeah, amazing. You know, we were way ahead of where we should have been. Yeah. But the situation in the area was because you had the rainy season there and then the fine season. In the rainy season you couldn't move because everything was, as I said, as you probably know, was paddy fields, and the roads weren't roads, they were just track, because the Koreans, South Koreans and that, the farmers didn't have cars and tractors and things like that. They used the bullocks in the paddy fields. Yeah, but a lot of the times we had to wait until fine weather before we could move.
Before you could move the guns.
Yeah.
And then, how did you get to working in the cookhouse?
Oh, that was, where was that now? I can't, it was a bit on a wee bit, I think. I had somebody, I can't remember, one of the crew, he got 3 or 4 bottles of beer from somewhere. I can't remember where he got it from. But he said, come and have a beer. I said, okay. And we're having a couple of beers. And of course we haven't had any for a while. And I felt sick. And of course I'm sitting by the tent and I just spewed outside the tent. And the sergeant said, okay, now you got to pick that up. I said, oh. So I walked out. And I wasn't going to pick it up. I said, it wasn't that bad. But he says, yes, it is. So, anyway, that was Sergeant Bramley.
So you had a disagreement with him?
Yeah. Anyway, I sort of was on the outer with that crew for some unknown reason. They all seemed to be more or less, if any guard duty had to be done, I seemed to be the one
who got chosen.
Had to go and do it. You know, whether I wasn't compatible with them, I don't know. But anyway, I said, I'm not going to pick it up. Okay, you're out. So I dug a man out and put a little pup tent to go pick up one from somewhere, and I was sleeping out in the tent by myself. Then I said, oh, blast. I'll go see the commanding officer and see if I can get a transfer. So at the time, they were short of cooks. Not that we had a lot to cook anyway, because a lot of it was only tinned meat and tinned vegetables. Was British, from the Britain supply. So then they used to get golden syrup and stuff like that. And there was an American camp just down the road. And I said to the sergeant, no, he was a corporal. I forget what his name was now. Jim. He came from Wanganui. Anyway, I did forget his name. He said, come with me. He said, we'll go down and we'll kick some of this golden syrup. We had plenty of that because we'd nothing to use it with anyway. So we were down to this camp, the American camp, and got hold of the cook. And that was when we started getting sea rations and things like that. They had plenty of. In fact, they'd get the packet of cigarettes and throw the rest away,
Mm.
you know. So we were getting fed pretty well after that. They got gas fire, and you dug a trench, and you put this a couple of rails across and had these canisters, so you just put them on, then get the gas fire flowing underneath, and heating the vegetables or whatever it was we were cooking eggs, anything that we could get, and that was quite good. They kept it that, yeah.
And so then, did you stay cooking for the?
Yeah, well, I wasn't with them that long, I don't suppose.
Mm.
When I say long, those must be 6 months.
Mm.
And there was apparently a cooking course in Japan, and this was a Canadian chef who was running it. And my captain said, "Oh, we're going to send you over to the cooking course with not only me, 2 or 3 other guys as well, and you can learn something about cooking and installing and how to create a kitchen." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "We're anything to get away from Korea anyway, in Japan." So when we arrived there, before we got there, that's right, we went down to the wharf, Busan, I think I was travelling all over, had a truck, and I had the accordion. I used to play the accordion, and it was in a case, and I put my gear down there with a case, and I was looking around with the other guy, and some guy came along and sat on the accordion. I said, "Hey, here's my accordion," and he squashed it, broke it. And of course, the accordion was broken too. It cut holes in it, like an ordinary accordion.
Mm.
Anyway, I said, "Oh, blast." So I was going to leave it there, and I thought, "I'll take it with me." We went over to I forget where it wasn't in Tokyo, it was below Tokyo. The name of where we went to camp. And apparently, we'd only been there about a week, so we didn't learn very much. It just did basic cooking sort of thing. And then to see the Japanese government wanted that area for some training purposes or something like that. And we had to dismantle all our stuff, and take it to another area, which we built up again. And needless to say, we did very little cooking experience at all. So, but anyway, we stayed there for quite some time, then they sent us back home. Back to Korea, which we were known the ways and what we were when we first went over there. Yeah. And there was one area within that the enemy threw some bombs over, but luckily, where we had our tent, we were in bed sleeping. I never heard the explosion because there was paddy fields all around us, and the shells landed in the paddy field, which meant that they were sort of diluted. You couldn't quite hear the sound. And in the morning when I woke up, you could see all these stars. What the heck? I didn't realise that there was holes in the tent.
That's of the shell.
Exploded,
Yeah.
But none of us got hurt or anything.
Gosh, you're lucky.
But that was about the only thing that I got close to the enemy. Or the shell.
It was the shells.
Yeah. There was an awful lot of other people there, of course. There's from all over the Commonwealth. Yeah, the Aussies had a 2-pounder gun. They used to drag it by hand. and they couldn't believe us. It weighed 25
pounders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I went into the cook, as I said, the cookhouse, I was there, and they would, when they decided that we had done 2 years or 2.5 years or something service, and they were going to replace us with this taking a lot of volunteers. So when it was my turn to go home, some of the guys who said, "Okay, quick, have a quick cup, a beer or whatever it is," and I'd missed the bus or the truck.
Oh, did you?
And in the end, they threw me onto a truck, and I arrived at wherever we were going. Tokyo, was it? Did we go to Tokyo? I'm not sure. It was in Japan somewhere. And I didn't have any gear, because mine was still in the tent. So apparently somebody had taken sick, and he had been sent to the hospital and then sent home, and his gear was there, so I used his gear.
You're lucky?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, they'd have found something for me anyway.
I feel like you had quite a lot of good fortune, Ron.
Oh, well, in some respects, but at the time you don't take any notice of that, you just carry on doing what you're doing. But there were different times and places we saw. I was swimming in the what river was it? The
Imjin?
No.
No.
The
Han River? No.
Again, I got photographs of it there anyway.
Yeah, you were swimming in a river in Korea.
Oh, we had a beer, bottle of cup. Me and my mate, we so decided. We were in the nude, of course. So but what we didn't know is that on the other side of the bank was the enemy. Yeah. But if they saw us, they never took any notice.
No.
Or else they would have shot so late, but soon. But it was quite a big river. What was it? I know. I can't think of it at the moment. Yeah. But they get a lot of guard duty. But what for, I don't know, because we're fairly well back from the front line. That you still had to have somebody out there just in case. Yeah. The war was a really a cooked tour as far as we're concerned. Mind you, they said we did a lot of damage with a shell. They reckon one part of it, the creeks and the rivers were running red with blood because of our shells throwing fire over there. Not only human, but animals as well were shooting the bullets.
Yeah, so the guns that you were firing, even though you were behind the front line, they were clearly doing a lot of damage.
Oh yeah. Oh, it must have. But there was, they had a funny arrangement. The Korean government was, because one time we pulled into an area there, and there was a man lying there, had a leg shot off, and nobody was attending to him at all. I don't know why or what was wrong. They thought he might have had hand grenade or something.
Grenade, yeah.
You know, yeah.
And so you left him because if anybody went close, he might have set off his grenade.
That's right. And then another area was Americans. They took us through. It was a tank brigade, company. And the North Koreans or Chinese, somebody attacked them, and they killed them all this tank crew. They stripped them of their clothes. It was winter time. They took us round and showed us all these bodies lying there, been shot, and one guy who must have been on guard duty, that I reckon who was the ground was covered in shells. He must have had a machine gun or something there. But we never found any enemy. So, but they took all the clothing, left them with nothing, just bodies lying there. But the theory was that they took us to show it, to prove that you've got to keep your eyes open at all times.
Yes, yes.
Be ready for any emergency such as that. Yeah. But apart from that, we didn't actually do any fighting. We fought by the shower, but we never got near the front lines.
And so were you pleased when you came home?
Well, yes, as I said, I was late getting. I didn't get home with the rest of the guys. And when I was sent home, they took us to Perth. We landed in Perth, and we had to stay at the military camp there for nearly a week, I think, before they could get us a berth on a boat, flying boat. We were in the last flying boat from Sydney or somebody around that area to Wellington.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I thought you could see the engine. It was red hot. You know, everybody moved up in the air. But you landed in the water and went up this ramp onto the land. And I think, I'm not sure whether it was Walter Nash or somebody that
was at the airport, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
When we arrived, that he was moving somewhere.
Yes.
And he come and congratulated us for coming home. So we're doing that.
So the Prime Minister of New Zealand came and shook your hand.
Yeah. I said, oh. He said, what's your name? I said, Abey. He said, I've heard that name. He says, I said, my father was on the Labour Party in St Kilda in Dunedin. That's probably where I heard it, he said. Yeah. But my father was a Gordon Highlander.
Yes, in the war.
In the First
World War.
Yeah. He was also in the Boer War.
Yes.
But he says it was good because the Gordon Highlanders used to travel on ships. And they used to go ashore if it was fighting to protect the ship and that sort of thing. And he arrived in Wellington. That's right. And my mother, at that stage, was a not Red Cross, she was just eluded me for a second.
Salvation Army?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, she was with them. She used to sell or give the war cries out on the street. And he was doing this when my father and a couple of his mates got to leave, I suppose, and they come ashore. And he took a fancy to my mother. And the next minute, wouldn't be a minute, I think, but apparently he left the ship, got permission to go and get married to my mother. And she come from Gore, of course, on the farm. And my father, being an Englishman, lives in the city all his life. And my eldest daughter always said she should never have taken my father to the country. He would know nobody there. But he was drum major of the pipe band at Gore. And when he got old to throw the staff around, he got the kettle drum. He used to play that. He always wanted me to play the chanter, which was the bagpipe sort of thing, with wind. But I could never get any idea of the chanter.
And so, have you had much to do with the veterans in the years since the war? Attending veterans events and.
Oh, well, I moved around a little bit. I was with the Otahu RSA. I was with Birkenhead RSA. I was with Dunedin RSA. You know, wherever I was with, you go and join the RSA.
Te Puke RSA?
No, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I joined that. Actually, I arrived up here, that's right, and the president of I forget his name, of the RSA in Te Puke. No, he came out and said I wanted to join. And I had a membership card from the other places I'd been to, I had to join. And apparently this was the secretary I was talking to. He started asking me all sorts of questions about where I've been, what I've done, and all this sort of thing. And the president came out, looked at him and said, "Oh," he said, "you're a Korean veteran. It's okay," he said, "you're in."
Good. Yeah. Good. As you should be.
Yeah. And anyway, I got on the committee there for a while. Especially in Tokoroa. I was on the committee there at the RSA. It wasn't very big in those days. We used to, Anzac Day, go to Te Puke, to the RSA, and then we'd shoot out to Mangakina.
Yes.
And go and have lunch
to the
and
pub.
Out there.
To the pub.
Yeah. The RSA.
RSA.
Yeah, they had a little RSA. And it used to be good. They used to put on a full class meal. Yeah. Whereas the Te Puke one was either only curried sausages or plain sausages.
Right.
And bread and butter.
And you haven't had the chance to go back to Korea?
No.
Have you?
Nobody's ever asked me. I inquired myself, and they said, "Oh, you're on the reserve list." You know, and I said, "Well, what's that?" Well, if somebody pulled out, you got a chance. But they didn't tell me how many others were on the reserve list, or if it was anybody. I didn't know. But I was never asked to go back. I know this Jim, president, he'd been back about 3 times. But he used to be what they call the leader of the group. He was a sergeant, of course. Yeah. But
it would be interesting to go back, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm getting a bit older for that, travelling out the country.
I heard
you coming here.
You're not going to go there next year to Korea. It's a bit. You're getting you're probably a bit late now to go to Korea.
Oh, I would think.
Go back to Korea.
I wouldn't appreciate the same I would have had 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yes.
Or 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But I've done. Felt a little bit disappointed, but you know, you get over that. So, you had your own life to live anyway. So carried on doing what you're doing. Yeah.
And what do you feel about when you think back on being a Korean War veteran? What do you reflect on when you think about your time there?
Yeah, well, of course, there was. I know when I first came back, the Second War guys in the RSA in Dunedin, they didn't want anything to do with us. They said, "You're not real soldiers yet. You're just volunteers. You weren't made to go. You didn't have to," and all the rest of it. But they didn't appreciate us at all. But we got on all right. You had to, because they were dying off.
What about members of the public? What about their views towards you?
No, well, I don't suppose there was a great lot of knew who I was. You know, you didn't go down the street shouting, "I'm a war veteran." No. Oh no, I didn't really expect them to anyway. Well, I didn't have to go over there. I didn't have to volunteer. But I'm very pleased that I did. But now that I've been with you and your association, I've had more approval and fun, sort of sense, than what I ever had all the other time, because nobody cared whether you're a Korean veteran or Vietnam or anything. You know, in fact, I think the Vietnam were treated more so than the Korean veterans. There was very little ever said about them.
You think the Vietnam veterans were treated
well, a lot better.
Better than you
were. They were, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. But I'm not discrediting the Korean veterans a bit. They did as well as what they could, I presume. But you didn't get much from the government in that respect. And then we also had a what do you call it? Policy? No, like a donation thing going with the children of Korea, which they think you send money to help them in education and what have you.
Well, I know that the New Zealand History Teachers Association and especially the Korean War Legacy Foundation are so proud and honoured to have you here with us and be a part of this interview.
Yeah.
We might finish today, Ron, with something that I know that you love to do, which is to sing songs. I wondered if you wanted to finish, before we finish our interview, with one of your little songs. So I'll leave it to you to decide. And
yeah. It's okay. Yeah. I usually sing better when I've had half a dozen beers.
Well, we can leave it today if you like.
No, I can sing a song. It's just I've just got to think which one I'm going to sing. I usually sing myself to sleep in bed.
Yes.
Night time.
Your Hills of Korea?
Who?
The Hills of Korea?
Yeah, well that was written by a American war correspondent and printed in the
Stars and Stripes.
Stars and Stripes, yeah. Yes, actually we were exchanging food when I saw this paper lying on the ground, you know, and there was bits and pieces lying around. But I picked this piece up and had it on Wars of Korea, and it was the first, and I kept it. And I thought I'll say that, but I don't remember it all. There's blood on the hills of Korea. It's the blood of the brave and the true. For nations they battle together under banners of red, white and blue. Forward they went into battle with faces unsmiling and stern. Some thought of their wives and their sweethearts, and some that would never return. There's blood on the hills of Korea. It's blood of the freedom they love. Many of their souls. I did that. Yeah. No, and I just thought I'd repeat, but then I keep forgetting some. Yeah. I was trying to think of this song, the one Bing Crosby used to sing. I'll probably get in a minute. Oh, sing this one. This is not it. You were only fooling while I was falling in love. It's a story as old as Adam and Eve. I was making love while you were making believe. You lied to me with kisses. I try to stop dreaming of, but you was only fooling me while I was falling in love. The bell